Aether Gazer is Xiamen Yongshi's latest foray into the action mobile gaming scene. Even if it's coming from the developers of Azur Lane, Aether Gazer is still a bold attempt at piercing the ARPG market, considering that it's not just going up against the Genshin Impact, but also well-established direct competitors like Punishing Grey Raven and Honkai Impact 3rd. So let's see what this ambitious underdog has to offer. Just like PGR and Tower of Fantasy, it features a fast-paced and flashy combat system that's easy to get into. It also has a familiar core combat that involves tapping into your basic attacks and dodging at the right time to initiate a time stop phase. It even comes with that enemy attack indicator that we see in every Honkai Impact copycat. There's also nothing too special about the progression system. You'll still be grinding for experience points for your character, weapon, and add-ons in the form of sigils and access keys, as well as having to work on your skill upgrades. Modifiers, which are what we call most of the playable characters, come with an ultimate and a set of 3 skills that feature a variety of uses. Some characters can even utilize a charged version of their basic attacks or skills. Each modifier plays differently, complete with unique mechanics such as stacking marks and foes, collecting energy to use skills with, or abilities that refreshes the cooldown of other skills. Because each character is unique, yes, even the low rarity ones, players are then able to come up with a variety of team compositions that can specialize in different combat scenarios, which is important because you'll often be made to take into serious consideration your team compositions, as you'll likely be made to switch up your strategy to be able to clear some of the later stages. Further incentivizing players to diversify their teams is the ultimate chain skill mechanic, a feature that allows certain ultimates to be combined to get stronger effects. It even has some amazing animations with your party members working together with devastating results. Just like most mobile games, a big part of the gameplay's depth comes from ensuring that you're able to utilize the right set of units to emerge victorious. What makes the combat feel different from other mobile ARPGs is that your other 2 party members will be joining you in the field, albeit controlled by AI, which sets it apart from Honkai and PGR solo play. However, players might lament the loss of character switching that made skill rotations in other action mobile games addicting, and may end up with some awkward downtime. A slight alleviation to this issue is that players will have their hands full making the most out of their own character's 3 unique skills and having to keep the combo gauge up. Despite the aesthetics, Aether Gazer actually leans closer to Honkai Impact 3rd due to its more casual-friendly approach in terms of difficulty. Sure, players will still need to make efficient use of the game's mechanics and team setups to make it through mid to late game content, but the current state of the game has yet to feature some of the more hardcore skill-based challenges we'd often find in Punishing Grey Raven. Overall, the combat is quite frantic and has enough to set itself apart from the competition. It is good enough for us to recommend giving this game a look, even if you've already been impressed by what PGR and Honkai have already accomplished. Aether Gazer is a great looking game. Just like Higan Eruthil, it's a newcomer that boasts good looking character models and smooth animations that plays a big part in keeping you engaged in the game. In a genre where excellent animations and art are the norm, we're happy to say that Aether Gazer is able to keep up with this aspect. While the combat and graphics are good, the sound effects lack a distinct punch in combat. It's not that it doesn't add a satisfying feel to the game, but it does leave more to be desired in a genre that excels in addicting sound effects. As for the music, it does a well enough job to set the atmosphere and is catchy enough to keep playing in our heads after a long play session. But it's not exactly as memorable as we would have liked, considering how its competitors were known for some concert-worthy tracks. These days, games need an appealing roster of characters to survive the competition. You must have unique character designs not only to gather people's attention, but to get people to associate these charming characters with your game among the sea of similar looking ones. The developers behind Azur Lane, who were popular for its aesthetics, certainly knew what they were doing in this regard. But there's also the question of pulling for them. The chances of obtaining an S-grade character in the game are 1.6%, followed by 7.8% for A grades. The majority of pulls result in low rarity functors used for weapon modification. While 1.6% may seem generous compared to Hoyoverse titles, it's still not as generous as you'd think. The Chinese version of the game was actually called out for being stingy with in-game resources, and only time will tell if this will stay with the global release. Of course, there's a pity system in place, with A grades at every 10 pulls and for S grades at every 70. But almost as if there's a trend going on, when you pull an S grade from a premium scan, which is their equivalent of an event featured banner, you still have to strike it lucky from a 50-50 coin flip. In effect, this means that if you're targeting a rate-up character from a banner, the chances of you getting her from your first S-grade pull is only 0.80%, unless you've already failed a prior coin flip. Despite its flaws, Aether Gazer stands as a genuine contender among the genre's titans, such as Punishing Grey Raven and Honkai Impact 3rd. With the potential for ongoing improvements through community support, there is a chance for developers to gradually enhance the game, as Yongshi is known to be entirely dedicated to keeping its fans happy. Even fans of Punishing Grey Raven and Honkai Impact should at least try to give this one a look. But what about you guys? What do you guys think about Aether Gazer? Will you guys be giving it a shot, or do you think it's gonna lose relevance as time goes by? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to see content on the latest mobile games and video game related content in general, check out the rest of our videos. We cover the latest gaming news, reviews, and all things fun in gaming. You can also check out our Twitter to stay tuned for our latest content. Again, this is Game Made Information Station, signing off.